The Japanese delegation will arrive in Kazakhstan to study the country's investment climate. The delegation plans to visit Nur-Sultan, Almaty and Atyrau. Japanese representatives of the largest corporations intend to discuss specific business projects with Kazakh entrepreneurs. The embassy pays special attention to attracting investments into the industrial sector. For this purpose, at the end of this month, we organize business missions of high-tech companies. The transit potential of favorable location on the world's transport map make Kazakhstan attractive for foreign investors. Another important advantage is special benefits and tax relief for the companies willing to share their technologies with Kazakhstan. Our company sells steel and steel products. Our partner involved in the steel production is working in Kazakhstan. Now there is a topic of expanding activities. The Kazakh market is quite new for us. Therefore, during the upcoming trip, we want to learn about the country's investment climate in detail. Over the past years of cooperation, Kazakhstan and Japan have achieved positive results in a number of areas. According to statistics, trade turnover between two countries reached $2 billion in 2018. The share of Japanese capital in Kazakhstan foreign investments amounted to more than $400 million. In addition, over the past 5 years, Kazakhstan export has doubled. Today, Kazakh exports exceed Japanese imports. For the first time in history of Kazakh companies, sunflower oil and honey are being exported to Japan. 4% of the world's coal reserves are concentrated in Kazakhstan. Today, Kazakhstan pays a lot of attention to implementation of the coal. For this purpose, a special mobile application has been launched in the Akkol city. The app allows online ordering of the coal in particular amount without intermediaries. The cost of the product is fixed. The app has been developed as part of the Smart City project. Each person can find the stock price and the cost of a truck online. Anyone can order using a smart application. No one can cheat because everything is transparent. Last year, almost 140 million tons of coal were produced in Kazakhstan. This is almost 5.5% higher than the figure in 2017. Domestic demand has been fully covered. Nearly a third of the coal is exported. Kazakhstan's products are in demand in Europe and Asia. Kazakhstan plans to focus on deep processing of the coal in order to obtain the products with high added value. Modern technologies allow producing more than 5,000 different coal products.
Мировые тренды говорят о необходимости развивать углехимию.
Global trends show the need to develop chemistry of the coal as well as the integrated coal processing, including gasification. Kazakhstan is implementing similar projects. Both the state and the government intend to support this area. Experts say that Kazakhstan has a high potential in the coal industry. Over the past decade, the coal production has increased threefold. To date, the coal reserves in Kazakhstan are estimated at 34 billion tons. Kazakhstan is increasing its export potential. More than 50 enterprises in Aktobe export products worth $3 billion a year. Kazakh producers focus on the cross-border cooperation with Russia, which is Kazakhstan's one of the main trade partners. The Kazakh producers are willing to export dairy products, confectionery, as well as meat and semi-finished products. Today, Russia imports flour, grain, and tomatoes from Kazakhstan. The main focus is on development of products of non-primary sector. This means that there should be support to food industry and consumer goods. Farmers of the Turkestan region have exported 500 tons of melons to Russia. The melon of Dakaro variety is in high demand. The Dakaro variety requires a lot of moisture comparing to Torpedo variety. It needs to be watered quite often. We use drip irrigation, which has a favorable effect on the harvest. The Torpedo variety matures in 70-80 days, while Dakaro ripens in 50-55 days. It gives a very sweet fruit.
The sweetest melons and watermelons grow in the Maktaral district. This is recognized both in Russia and Europe. Every day we send nearly from 200 to 300 trucks with melons and watermelons.
New markets for processed and finished products are being opened for Kazakhstan thanks to measures taken to support domestic producers and exporters. Today, Kazakhstan exports its products to more than 100 different countries. The European Union plans to invest more than $12 million in business projects of Central Asia. Thus, competitiveness and economic development will be increased in the region. Applications will be accepted in one of the following areas: access to financing, business, tax regulation and informal economy, as well as promotion of intra-regional and international trade. The EU allocates more than $1 billion to the Central Asia republics in order to implement a number of projects in areas such as the rule of law, education, and rural development until 2020. The Dashti Jum hydropower station, with a capacity of more than 15 billion kWh, will be built near the Pyanch River in Tajikistan. A number of opportunities will open up for the energy use of the Lower Cascade. According to the preliminary project of the Pyanch River, 14 hydroelectric power stations will be built. Their annual output will amount to 86 billion kWh of electricity, which will cover the demand of several countries of Central and South Asia. Poland is investing $8 million in Uzbekistan's seed potato laboratory. The project will result in high yields. Up to 8 million seeds can be obtained per year by in vitro method. Imports can be regulated by expanding domestic capabilities. Uzbek experts are confident that the quality of tubers can be improved as well. Currently, on average, from 20,000 to 30,000 tons of seeds are imported a year. In 2021, an exhibition of Uzbekistan historical artifacts will take place in the Louvre in Paris. As part of preparation for the event, meeting of the research committee of the exhibition took place in France. Meeting participants have chosen artifacts which will be showcased in the upcoming exhibition. They have also talked about details regarding the research catalog and the restoration of exhibits. Experts said that the exhibition in one of the world's most famous museums opens up opportunities for Uzbekistan in promotion of its rich and ancient cultural heritage. A new version of the famous Manas epic has been presented for the first time in Kyrgyzstan. This is a story of great victories and heroism of Kyrgyz warriors, as well as love for their homeland. The troupe of the Chinese theater ballet performed at the Maldibaev Kyrgyz National Academic Opera and Ballet Theater. Each of the 4 scenes of the opera gave the audience not only aesthetic pleasure, but also the opportunity to plunge into the country's rich national flavor. Chinese artists managed to cover the true image of their characters, as well as the atmosphere of a distant time. The Chinese creative team has visited the Kızılsu region several times in order to feel their characters' identity and culture. We have read almost all versions of the epos. The whole group went to Kızılsu, where Kyrgyz people reside. We have worked hard on this performance, and I hope the audience will appreciate it. The descendant of Jusub Mamai has spoken well of the opera. His great-grandfather was a monaschi who gave the world legendary tales, which resulted in 18 volumes of the epic in the original interpretation. I have assessed the production not only as a descendant of Jusub Mamai, but also as a performer of Manas. I want to thank Chinese artists who conveyed the image of our ancestors. Bright costumes, scenery, and the professional performance of actors have surprised the audience. The original music with national notes written by the Chinese composer has fully conveyed the spirits of the Kyrgyz epic, Manas.
Он присутствует в музыке.
The music, the words, the libretto and the overture have conveyed everything. As a result, we have witnessed the opera based on the epic Manas.
Что эта опера по мотивам эпоса «Манас» она состоялась.
На китайском языке мы ничего не поняли, но тем не менее
We
перевод.
did not understand the performance since it was staged in Chinese. However, there was translation. We got it. Especially music does not require translation, so I'm very pleased with the musical part because there are so many professionals.
Что очень много профессионалов.
Previously, the Manas opera was staged in Beijing and in other Chinese cities. In Turkestan, large umbrellas will be installed next to Hoca Ahmet Yasawi Mausoleum. Each umbrella will be 12-20 meters high. Umbrellas will open early in the morning and fold at nightfall. Thus, tourists and residents of the city can spend more time outdoors. This design of the umbrellas decorates many countries, including the United Arab Emirates.
Особенность этих зонтов в чем? Защищают людей от солнечных лучей.
These umbrellas are designed to protect people from sunlight. Secondly, we are going to install ventilation for cooling. There will be water sprayers which will look like mini fountains. Water will be sprayed onto the people. A visitor can refresh under the umbrella. We are planning a free Wi-Fi zone as part of the project. This is important since young people also visit Turkestan.
То есть на сегодняшний день это актуально, так как приезжает молодежь в Туркестане.
15th Eurasia International Film Festival will take place in the capital of Kazakhstan from the 30th of June to the 6th of July. The festival will feature film screenings and a variety of networking events and filmmaking masterclasses.
Кездесулер болот, мастер-класс деймиз, сонун кийин үлкөн менеджер, продюсерлер.
There will be a lot of meetings and different workshops. I'm confident that the agreements and memorandums will be conducted as part of the International Film Festival. We have a lot of ambitious plans. Now there's a global change in the world of cinema. So we also have to make certain changes in our cinema industry.
Болуп жатыр. Биз эленде өркүнөттүү мемлекет боламыз десек, кино саласында да көптөгөн жаңа чараларды энгизүүбүз керек.
This year, American producers will attend the festival. They will meet with the local filmmakers to share experience and knowledge. Year after year, the Eurasia Film Festival is becoming more prestigious and is approaching its goal of becoming one of the A-class film festivals in the world.
Timing was perfect for the minister, and of course, it was followed up shortly after that by the visit of the first president of Kazakhstan, His Excellency Mr. Nazarbayev, whom the city is now named after, who came to Washington, D.C. and had a very, very important meeting with Gail McKinnon, one of the leaders of the Motion Picture Association of America. And from that conversation grew an agreement to intensify cooperation between Hollywood film and television producers and Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan's ancient city Taraz hosted a Republican competition of technological creativity and invention. 160 young developers from all over Kazakhstan, aged 11 to 17, have demonstrated models of their developments. One of the contestants is 10th grader Adilkhan Imangaliyev. He has assembled a model of a warship which can speed up to 60 kilometers per hour.
Жодам кемелерден басқа фигурный кемелер бар, яғни.
The points were awarded not only for speed but also for mobility of the ship. We've got nearly 8 minutes to overcome the barriers. During this time, the ship overcame the distance several times.
Көп болғанша айналым жасауымыз керекпіз.
The competition involves 2 stages. The jury has assessed not only maneuverability and speed characteristics of the vessel, but also external condition of the ship. All contestants have fought for the highest score.
Пройти дистанцию в течение 5 минут, пройти где-то 12 створов ворот.
Participants had to complete the distance in 5 minutes and overcome 12 gates. They had to get 100 points. In case of some errors, like a boat or a ship passes by the gate, or there is a bulk of buyos, then points are deducted. Models of very good quality were presented this time. They were well constructed.
Хорошего качества в этот раз были представлены, достаточно хорошего изготовления.
Organizers said that the goal of the competition is to inspire students to invent and engage in creative activity, as well as to provide conditions for the exchange of experience. This event has been organized in our area for the first time. First of all, it is important since it has been conducted as part of the youth year. Secondly, the goal of encouraging students' interests in science and high technology has been achieved. Dozens of sailing and modern ships made of fiberglass, wood and metal have been showcased at the Republican competition. The jury members highly spoke of these new ships. The Daratulga exhibition, dedicated to the 115th anniversary of famous scientist Alkei Margulan, was opened at the Central State Museum in Almaty. The exposition tells about the different periods of the life and activities of the academician. Visitors can find photos, personal belongings of the archaeologist, as well as historical documents. In addition, the exhibition presents ancient artifacts that were discovered by Alkei Margulan during archaeological excavations.
I want this
Sararka Mining Metallurgy in Bronze Age book to be republished. This book is a sensation. Once I gave it to a very well-known journalist from Warsaw to read. When she read it, she said, "Daniel, it's necessary to shout at all across the roads about it so that the world would know that in ancient times there was mining and metallurgy on the land of Kazakhs. Very few people know about this. Students should be aware and be proud of it. These works instill patriotism and national dignity in our younger generations." Alkei Margulan became a legend in his lifetime. He was a scientist, archaeologist, orientalist, historian, literary critic, and art historian. He left a huge scientific legacy. 14 fundamental works. The works on the collection of materials about outstanding Kazakh scientist Shohan Walikhanov were reflected in the exhibit. A long-term study of the heritage of the Kazakh scientist and enlightener was the 5-volume collection of works by Alkei Margulan. We worked on the publication for more than 3 months, from morning to late evening. There were tautologies or unnecessary words in the book, even in one sentence. I told him about it. He answered me, "Leave everything as it is and go." The next day when I arrived, all mistakes had been corrected. He worked tirelessly. I can say he was an amazing person. Alkei Margulan had significantly contributed to the study of urban civilization of southern Kazakhstan. He discovered and studied ancient urban cultures in the basins of the Sirdarya, Taraz, and Shu rivers. A masterpiece from Balkhash creates unusual miniatures. Nikolai Savidov places chess pieces in the eye of a needle, writes aphorisms on horsehair, and draws ornaments on poppy seeds. His masterpieces can be seen under the microscope only. It takes several months to create less than a millimeter-sized item. 35 years ago, Nikolai managed to shoe a chicken egg. He has also learned to draw on rice grains. The more complicated the process is, the more interesting it gets, the craftsman admits. Today, Nikolai is mastering a new era, micro-abstractionism. In my dreams, I saw a topic that I registered as micro-abstractionism. I want some of the things I saw to be different on the poppy half. There were shapes such as the pyramid, the cone, the ball, and the cylinder. In total, there were 6 types of geometric shapes. Nikolai Savidov was trained to be an electrician. The craftsman creates his unique exhibits in his spare time. He has mastered this difficult craft on his own. There are very few masters in the world who are involved in such sophisticated and difficult art.
Если из миниатюр, конечно, это наши нетские, карагандинские, когда авторство...
These are Netsuki miniature sculptures from Karagandi, made by Junusov brothers. There are tiny and wonderfully performed sculptures. Perhaps this is a very painstaking work on the miniature sculptures. There is nothing tinier than these sculptures. This might be the tiniest works that we have.
Вот. А так, чтобы менее, еще менее по размерам, у нас ничего такого нет.
During his 36 years of creative activity, Nikolai have created approximately 2,000 micro-miniatures. The works of the Balkhash craftsmen surprised both Kazakhs and foreigners. His works are presented in the Museum of the First President of Kazakhstan, as well as in the museums of Russia and Ukraine.